win in their last 4 games now, that aforementioned victory here against Preston. So we'll be pleased to be back on home soil this afternoon. Just 3 days after their final fixture of 2024, Queen's Park Rangers and Watford get the new year underway early. Rangers looking to build on a recent revival that has edged them clear of the relegation places. Their improved form particularly prevalent here at home. Despite some setbacks of late and a difficult away record this season, the first half of the campaign was a positive one for Watford. They've put themselves in a position to at least push for a playoff place with their performances to this point. It's been an injury-hit campaign for Queen's Park Rangers. They've already announced a new signing on New Year's Day. Ronnie Edwards joining on loan from Southampton to bolster things at the back. Not eligible today. Certainly at the halfway point of Watford's season, has at least put his team in a position where they can push on, but greater consistency is going to be required, particularly away from Vicarage Road, if they are to get where he wants them to be this season. They've surprised a few already by challenging for a playoff place. Let's have a look at the team news for you. 2 changes for QPR from the draw at Norwich City on Sunday. Notably, there is a first start since October after injury for Michael Frey up front. He's in for Ryan Colley today, whilst Jonathan Varane returns to the starting lineup in midfield in place of Lucas Anderson, who's ruled out of this one with a calf injury that forced him off at Carrow Road. Jack Colback is back on the bench, having been sidelined since September with a knee injury. Watford show 4 changes from their surprise defeat to Cardiff City on Sunday. Francisco Sierralta, Jeremy Ngakia and Tom Ince all come in, whilst Kwadwo Bar is back from a 1-match ban, having been sent off for his celebrations against Portsmouth on Boxing Day. Imran Louza hasn't made it after coming off against Cardiff with a knee injury, but Rocco Vata is on the bench, having also been doubtful. He's got a calf problem, not fit to start today. Ryan Andrews and Edo Kayembe revert to substitute roles as well. We have key players coming back to fitness. The Queen's Park Rangers, importantly at this time of year. Still a number sidelined. It's been the case for Martí Cifuentes really throughout the course of this campaign, with a few issues of their own today as well, including the absence of Imran Louza. Tom Ince has been restored to the starting lineup. Tom cleverly believes he has similar qualities. Expects Louza to be back, by the way, for their next fixture. Now everybody gathering around the centre circle, because at the start of a new year, Queen's Park Rangers are taking the opportunity to take a minute ahead of kick-off to remember all those lost to the club in 2024.
Today we remember everyone connected to both QPR and Watford who we sadly lost during 2024, while images of those from QPR who are no longer with us will be shown on the big screen. A period of applause will end on the referee's whistle. May they all rest in peace.
Always a particularly poignant moment at this time of year. Well, Stephen Martin, today's referee, is about to get the action underway. His 13th championship game of the season, nearly 12 years now since his debut in this division. So Watford winners just twice on the road all season. Marty Cifuentes' Queen's Park Rangers side having found their form in front of their own fans, with 3 wins on the bounce here. Close one to call, as it was when they met recently, just 4.5 weeks ago in Hertfordshire. So Rangers in their traditional colours, the blue and white hoops, will get the action underway. Watford in their chain strip today in the black. So the new year starts here for Queen's Park Rangers and Watford. Currently 11 points and 10 places between them in the championship table in the visitors' favour. The clubs having finished last season level on points back in May. And there was, as mentioned, nothing between them at Vicarage Road in a goalless draw when they last met just 4.5 weeks ago. Both have spoken of the need to start strongly today. It's something that they've each struggled with at times this season. Marty Cifuentes was pleased with the way that they did begin on the front foot in the last home game against Preston, even though they ended up falling behind in it. Described that display as perhaps their best performance of the season when they came back from behind to win it. Starting strongly has certainly been an issue for Watford as well. Of their 31 goals conceded in the championship so far this season, 10 of those have come in the first 10 minutes of matches, during which they've scored only once themselves. And the new year bring a change of fortune in that respect, we shall see. And Porteous waiting to take the Watford throw. They've brought an extra defender in today, in Francisco Ciarauta, potentially a change of shape. So that home defeat to Cardiff, their first home loss under Tom Cleverley dating back to March. Did come as a surprise against a struggling side. Frustrating result from which they're attempting to bounce back here. Callum Robinson of Cardiff having scored twice in the first half at Vicarage Road to inflict that defeat. Beaten Portsmouth there just 3 days earlier. That 95th minute winner for Rocco Vetta. He's back on the bench today after a calf injury suffered against Cardiff. They'd lost out initially. Field steps in to try and win it back and then loses his footing. Presenting possession back to Watford with their captain Sissoko. Forward by Matty Pollock. In towards the run of Tom Ince. He had Larusi in support as well. And the conditions likely to be a factor today. The amount of rain around, but also the strong winds ushering in the new year. It is a relatively rare start these days for Tom Ince, only his 7th of the championship season in the absence of Imran Louza. Only expected to be a short-term absence. He was given a fitness test yesterday and hasn't quite made it. Having come off against Cardiff with a knock to the knee. This is Bayo. Wider for Barr. From his one-match ban, Quadwo Barr, after an eventful Boxing Day. Swings in the cross. Should be claimed, and is, by Paul Nardi under pressure. He gets the free kick as well as the goalkeeper in the process. Here's Varane. He was given a breather on the bench last time out, slots straight back into the Rangers midfield. With Lucas Anderson having joined the injury list. He came off at Carrow Road against Norwich with a calf problem that has sidelined him this afternoon. We do have Jack Colback back on the bench after a long-term knee injury. And Michael Frey starting for the first time since October after coming on as a substitute in the last 3 games. Battle with Ryan Porteous is one to keep an eye on as the game goes on. And judging by that particular encounter, it will be a battle between the two of them. Porteous might count himself a little bit unfortunate in the concession of the free kick. As Queen's Park Rangers have taken cleverly, and there to finish it is Frey. Back in the starting lineup and back on the score sheet already inside the opening 5 minutes. Well, he's the one that ended up winning the free kick that Watford were unhappy about, and he's the one that profits from it, in position to find the finish. And some start to the new year for Queen's Park Rangers. Really well worked set piece though. And cut back into space by Morgan for Frey to finish it off and to score his 4th goal of the season. He's afforded a bit too much space in there for Watford's liking, certainly. But located impressively, accurately by Kieran Morgan. And the Swiss striker is there to do the rest and announce his return. The first to give the credit to the part played by Morgan. Well worked set piece though by Cifuentes' side. That's one from the training ground. And they have got the positive start that he was hoping for. What both bosses have been talking about in the build-up. Watford concede early again. And he won the free kick in the first place. Did Frey. To the frustration of Porteous. And how he's made him pay. First goal since a 1-1 draw here against Millwall in September. Albeit having been sidelined for a significant spell since then. 10 games he missed with a calf injury. Come on in the previous 3 before getting the nod to start today. It hasn't taken him long to have an impact. He's certainly not the only one that deserves their share of the credit for the goal that Queen's Park Rangers have scored. There's Jimmy Dunn, who got the winner in the last home game late on against Preston to cap that comeback. He's since moved into the heart of the defence recently, which is why Harrison Ashby's come back into the side at right back on loan from Newcastle. Deputising for the injured Steve Cook, who hasn't played since the Preston game when he went off with a foot injury. Suffered in the process of conceding the opening goal, actually, of that game. Liam Morrison since sidelined as well at centre-back. Jake Clark-Salter working his way back to full fitness. He's amongst the substitutes today. And as I mentioned right at the start, Ronnie Edwards signed on loan from Southampton for the rest of the season. That move confirmed earlier today. This game coming too soon for him to feature, but he will be available for the next one. Playing to Luton Town on Monday. That will carry through for Daniel Bachmann. Although he got something on Frey's effort, couldn't keep it out from that sort of range. Jeremy Ngakia advancing for Watford. Well, we didn't get a goal between these two at Vicarage Road at the end of November. Taken less than 5 minutes for the scoring to start today as they reconvene in West London. The first championship goal of 2025. Challenge laid down to Tom Cleverley. Unusual position for him of having to bounce back from a home defeat. He only took over in March, initially on an interim basis. Incredibly, he's already the 12th longest-serving manager in the Championship after the recent changes made by the likes of Stoke City. Appointment of Mark Robbins confirmed earlier. Watford and Millwall making moves at this time of year as well. There is field for Queen's Park Rangers. Frustrated by the decision going against him. What a start for the home side here, as they aim for that fourth successive victory at Loftus Road in the Championship. 78% of Watford's points have come on the home soil this season. It's something that Tom Cleverley has spoken about, the need to improve the away record if they are to sustain a push for the playoffs. Just the 2 wins from 11 previous away games this season, couple of draws in there, but they've lost 7 times away from Vicarage Road. And they were unbeaten in 15 at home in the Championship until Sunday. There's Sissoko. Matty Pollock trying to get there. Making his 50th appearance for Watford today. He's been ever present in their Championship season. Played the full 90 in all but one. Decision goes against him this time. Kenneth Powell. It's given away to Ngakia. Nearly for bar. Absence of Steve Cook. Sam Field taking over the captain's armband for Queen's Park Rangers. Conceding the throw here, which Porteous is preparing to launch long. To what is a packed penalty area. Serrata gets the flick on. Smith might be able to come clear for QPR. Maurici trying to get back to him, and does. Gets in front of him, did well. Smith will continue the chase here. The pressure on Backman. Both he and Porteous have stayed down at the end of that passage of play. A bit too much pressure put on Daniel Backman, maybe. And Smith, the player in question, he just lost out to Yasser Laroussi previously. Put the brakes on in time and went careering into the keeper. He had clearly got to the ball first and played the pass for Porteous. Paul Smith in the second season of his second spell with Queen's Park Rangers. He's been a regular recently in the absence of others. Porteous back on his feet. 10th straight start in the Watford defence for the Scottish international. And he did have hold of Frey's shirt. And perhaps wasn't the only one culpable. Free kick was taken and led to this. And this time there was nobody near Michael Frey when he stuck that one away. Heavily involved in the early story on his return to the team. He joined a year ago from Antwerp. He was a January signing last season as Queen's Park Rangers pulled clear of relegation trouble under Martí Cifuentes. His impact so far this season, his first full season at the club, has been limited by that injury. Big boost for them to have him back. And for Watford, well, it never rains but it pours at the moment for Tom Cleverley. But it has been a really positive first half of their Championship season. They do have a game in hand on many of the sides around them after the recent postponement of their game at Cardiff City, which has been rearranged for next month. So their season did only reach its halfway point after the last game against Cardiff City. Let's have another look at this, though. It is a talking point, isn't it, whether this should have been a free kick or not in the first place. anything, it could have been given the other way. But Frey then was pulled back by Porteous. He certainly has a different opinion having seen it back. Will be equally as frustrated, Tom Cleverley, by what followed, though, and the amount of space that Queen's Park Rangers were able to take advantage of from the free kick when it came, but he certainly feels it shouldn't have come. And they're also unhappy about Paul Smith's challenge on Daniel Bachmann. He's still receiving some treatment here. This is the reason for the lengthy delay that we're having. Porteous also went down, but he's okay. This won't be the goalkeeper's own decision, of course, if he is able to continue. Jonathan Bond is the backup on the bench, but it looks like Bachmann's been given the OK. And we'll get the game back underway again here. As the ball is positioned in precisely the correct spot to take the resulting free kick. So the side have positioned themselves impressively early on. Can they go on and take advantage of it from here? A dramatic turnaround in their fortunes at Loftus Road recently. So we'll get something on that. Gets it back from field. Now it's Smith. Support from Ashby, not quite for Morgan. There's a current confidence in this Queen's Park Rangers camp. Reflected by the way they're zipping the ball around, maintaining possession, making Watford work. Forward by Chair. His own recent return to fitness has been important in this recent Rangers revival. Starting back-to-back games, Ilias Chair now. He was named in the side at Norwich for the first time since the 5th of November. A couple of spells on the sidelines so far this season. And one of their creators-in-chief. And back by Larisi, who will win the free kick as well for Watford. He's been the regular in that role recently. 4th straight start for him. By Harrison Ashby. And this time Watford can't make the most of their own free kick. Not dissimilar territory to the one that he won and then profited from at the start of the game, which remains the difference in the early exchanges. He's got the touch to it, not convincing though. All the way in as far as Ngakia. There's Barr, who's gone straight back into the side after that one-match ban. He's sending off on Boxing Day against Portsmouth followed the final whistle. So goading the opposition players and supporters. Something that Tom Cleverley was unhappy about in terms of his own players' behaviour, and had suggested the club would take their own internal action against him as well as serving that ban, but he's straight back in the team. Back on the ball here is Barr. Full check for Tabza, another of their standout stars of the season so far. His arrival was made permanent a year ago. Georgie Chakva-Tabza looks a very decent bit of business now. On the ball again here. Looking for Bayo in the middle, nearly came for Ngakia. Hasn't entirely been dealt with yet. Barr battling for the bouncing ball. Away a bit more decisively by Kenneth Powell this time. But Vacuum Bayo has had a decent season in front of goal. It was half a chance for him. Didn't really connect with his kick though when it came his way. The Ivorian international. No such problems for Michael Frey at the other end. two strikers so far in the first 20 minutes. In fairness to Vacuum Paya, that one a moment ago was his first sight of goal, really, of the game. Looking to reach double figures for the championship season today. Across to get a foot in. Trey battling for it, kept in and cleared by Pollock, or was it? Not quite. Both bosses studying the footage of that previous game on the last day of November, when they battled to a goalless draw at Vicarage Road. Both have referenced that in the build-up to this one. An advantage they both feel that they played each other relatively recently in terms of aiding their preparations for this game. What it will highlight is how little there was between them, really. Two clubs who finished level on points last season. They've had much the better first half of this campaign, not necessarily more recently. Such a disappointing start to this season for Queen's Park Rangers, as they failed to build on the improved form of the end of the previous campaign. Although it didn't necessarily come as a big surprise to Marty Cifuentes and the club, given the changes that they made in the summer and the injuries that they've had. It's a Watford ball, to Smith's frustration. With Porteous. Tommins looking for options, weren't too many immediately on for him ahead of him, so prioritises possession. Sissoko, who's on the charge here, and he has support from Jack Vitadze, a couple in the penalty area as well. He was trying to cut it back towards Bayo. Rangers rapidly got players back in position. Vitadze will try again, takes it on himself and forces the intervention from Paul Nardi. What's likely to be a difficult day for the goalkeepers in these conditions, so it was certainly worth the go from there. Jack Vitadze was a scorer last time out against Cardiff City, only his second goal of the season. He scored on the opening day as well. It had a long wait in between before getting his second of the season. He got a little bit fortunate that he didn't parry it back into more immediate danger. Gakia to swing it back in again. And as far as Pollock this time, who'd stayed up. Bayo with back to goal. Barr trying to make something happen as well. Marcelo Russi. And check for Vitadze. Sissoko trying to step in, but found himself outnumbered. And just clipped field to concede the free kick. It's a key midfield battle between Mr. Sissoko and Sam Field, the respective captains at Loftus Road today. Virtually every ticket sold for the first fixture of the new year, despite the conditions. It's just overran it, and Gakia trying to help him out, can't keep it in. It's the first time since October of 2022 that Queen's Park Rangers have won 3 on the bounce at home. Let's manage 4 back in March of 2017 in this division. Kieran Morgan. Smith lets it run. Let's have support here from Harrison Ashby, the furthest forward from full-back, who was quickly closed down by Sissoko at the expense of the corner. Ashby getting another season in the Championship on loan from Newcastle after a spell at Swansea City previously. Had covered good ground here in support of Paul Smith, those two linking up effectively. He did have plenty back in the middle. Rangers will push plenty up for the corner that Kenneth Powell has gone across to take. Yet another who's had a spell on the sidelines, but it's a fourth straight start since his return, the Suriname international. He's going to swing this one in. That was well worked. Not only as far as Morgan, who had time to set his sights there. Not the easiest technique, though, and never really troubling the target from Kieran Morgan. He's still just 18 years of age, released by Spurs back in the summer. Brought in by Queen's Park Rangers to play with their development side, and already he's found himself a first-team regular. Fourth straight start for him. In that attacking midfield role today. Goal scorer against Coventry City back in October. His first in professional football. It's been a very deliberate attempt over the last year or so from Queen's Park Rangers to look towards youth. Whether it be developing their own or bringing young players in from elsewhere and developing them. Kieran Morgan has been one of the success stories of that policy so far this season. Let's check for Tanser. Quadro Bar. Gekir was calling forward in space. Bar's going to take it on himself. And a wicked deflection. Carries it over the crossbar in the end. It could have been a different story. And Quadro Bar looks in the mood. He did have other options, but was always determined to try and take the shot on. Just clipped off Kenneth Powell. So it will be a corner. Just so it could have looped up and gone in on another day in that sort of situation. Chekvitadze's corner, away by Jimmy Dunn. Decisively underneath his own crossbar. Marusi waiting to take the throw. Watford just edging their way back into the game after the disappointment of that early concession and the nature of it. Not been too much between the sides since then. Liverpool had to improve. 9 games here this season in this division without a victory until maximum points in the last 3. Forward by Powell. It's going to ask a bit too much of Fry, I think. And Daniel Backman's starting position as the keeper clears it away. Now Morgan Fox. Jimmy Dunn. Varane. And we required once more with the clearance, but it keeps on coming back in that direction. Check for Tadze. Pollock. Larouci. Smith doing his defensive duties, prevented the cross from coming in. Ciarauta on his return to the starting lineup. Come off the bench and through the last 4, Francisco Ciarauta. And Gekir. Still won back his regular role from Ryan Andrews more recently. It was Andrews who started on Sunday. It's been the exception rather than the rule of late. Since Jeremy Ngakier's return from injury that has sidelined him for much of the season. It's the 5th start in 6 for him since then. He actually made his return at Vicarage Road when these sides last met at the end of November. Came off the bench in that one. Takes the throw here into the feet of Tom Ince and gets it back again. Ciarauta. Ince. Space for Bar. It didn't last long as Varane came across. Got a foot in. There's Harrison Ashby. Taken off his toes by Chekvitadze. Sissoko forward. All the way through for Bayo. And Chairs in some space here for Queen's Park Rangers. Lovely ball and a brilliant first touch to set himself up for a charge forward into Watford territory. He didn't get as far as he wanted with it. Porteous intervened and came clear. And Quadro Bar. Did the referee see anything untoward there? Jimmy Dunn is the player down after battling with Bayo. Down off the ball, did Dunn. And has stayed down. Another look at it. I don't think there was a lot in that, was there? If anything, it might have been done on Bayo. But he did get his foot to it first. It was a fair challenge. I think both of them got in a little bit of a tangle. You know, continuing the conversation, or at least attempting to do so. Doesn't look like Jimmy Dunn is having much of that. Just a minute of Queen's Park Rangers Championship season. Much of it spent at right back, but more recently filling in, perhaps in his preferred position, in the centre of defence. That's mean he's in direct opposition with Bayo today. His form this season earned him a recall by the Ivory Coast in November, after 6 years away from the international scene. Got a foot in, but then overran it and has lost it, and tries to get back to Bar and brings him down in the process. In dangerous territory as well. And he left himself with a real problem there, did Michael Frey. It will cost him a card as well once he gets back to his feet. Well, he won a free kick and ended up being on the receiving end to score from it at the start of the game, but he's conceded one. Dangerous part of the pitch here, having been culpable initially really for giving the ball away and then pulling back Kwadwo Bar from behind. It's a fairly clear-cut decision, that one, for the referee. This is the first name taken today. Second yellow card of his campaign. And a very appealing angle for Tom Ince here as he puts the ball down. Plenty of possibilities. So a bit of time to size it up. There's Ince. Ince takes it on target, but straight at the goalkeeper, really. Nardi not extended by it. All out of the equation, but it was comfortable enough for Nardi in goal. Watford may come again yet, though, with Sissoko. Check the Tadser in towards the run of Ince. He's not quite going to reach there. Notable return to the starting lineup for Tom Ince, who was last named in the 11 in the 1-1 draw at Hull City early in December. That was his first start for over a month. It's only his 7th of the season today in the Championship. 4 of his 5 goals this season have come in the EFL Cup, including that early season hat-trick against the MK Dons in the first round. Notably scored at Manchester City as well, later in that same competition. And Gakia keeps it in here, gets it back from Bar. To return it to Kwadwo Bar once more. Rangers having none of that. Chair under some pressure facing his own goal, but showed decent composure to keep hold of it and to pick the pass for Harrison Ashby, but he's lost it. Brown helps him out. There's Chair again. Looking for Smith, good ball, but it was red. And cut out by Pollock. Lucy to Sissoko. Too much time on the ball for anybody at the moment. And this is pass cut out. It will fall for Frey. And this time he doesn't get the free kick against Ryan Porteous. Well, maybe he had a bit more of the case. Elias Chair takes over though. Queen's Park Rangers still have it in a promising position. Field leaves it for Powell. Back with Chair. He's trying to bend one. He's blocked behind in the end for the corner though. Some reward for Rangers. Chair still waiting for his first goal of an injury-interrupted season. He scored 7 times in this division last season. Came off Tom Ince in behind for the corner. Big boost though for Queen's Park Rangers to have Ilias Chair fit again in starting games. Kenki Saito back on the bench for the last couple of matches, had been deputising. Takes the corner, does Chair, having helped win it, looking for Frey. Held initially by Watford. Chair will get it back with a chance maybe to return this into more dangerous territory. Sissoko was behind it instead. Here's Chair again. That was well worked, but Portier steps in. And goes Barr. Look at the decision against Kenneth Powell. Rain returning a bit heavier at the moment as well. Hasn't really relented at any stage since kick-off. Nearly for Harrison Ashby. Just skips away from him. Let's check for Tadza. The stock has certainly risen since he was signed permanently a year ago. It could be worth an awful lot more now for Watford. Now hopeful of keeping hold of him, but possibly only until the summer. Depends what happens, I guess, between now and the end of the season. Ince to check for Tadza and back again. Lovely little touch from the Georgian once more, right on cue. And trying to force his way through. He's frustrated. The free kick is Queen's Park Rangers. Not really pushed on from the opening goal, Cifuentes' side, but they remain on top. I think the biggest disappointment for Tom Cleverley will be conceding so early, given how often it's happened to his side this season. 11 goals they've let in the first 10 minutes of championship matches now. This one cleared away only as far as Ilias Chair. Whip it back in menacingly and in for 2-0. Queen's Park Rangers double their lead thanks to Jimmy Dunn, who scores in back-to-back games at Loftus Road. The winner late on against Preston just before Christmas, and now a crucial second maybe here before half-time on New Year's Day. And if he didn't reach it, then Michael Frey might have done. They were queuing up to attack that. Watford undone by another set-piece, albeit in different circumstances at either end of the half. Second phase this time when Chair was able to return it. Lovely ball in. Real quality on the cross from Ilias Chair. That's what Rangers have missed for much of this season. Dunn stretching, just had to steer it in. And Frey may well have done had he not been able to get the touch to it. Just won the tussle with Matty Pollock, who went down. Because of that, it was a relatively free header for Dunn, and that's his 4th goal of the season from the back already. One of their standout performers of this championship campaign to date is Jimmy Dunn. 3 of those have come in his last 7 games now. And what a difference that might make, heading towards the final 5 of the first half. Queen's Park Rangers on course for a 4th straight home win. That will be a Watford free kick. We haven't quite seen enough from them in terms of quality in the final third yet. And the need for that is ever increasing. The Daniel Beckman was beaten again. He'll pick up a yellow card for his complaints in there, I think. Complaints may be aimed as much at his own defenders as the referee. Here's Ince. a crucial little spell this for Watford in particular before half-time. Can they find a foothold? Can they change the mood going into the interval? Not shown enough yet to suggest that that is going to be the case. We need to step things up, otherwise a third defeat in 4 will be heading their way. They lost at Burnley just before Christmas. Did beat Portsmouth on Boxing Day with that late goal as they came back from behind. And a costly setback against Cardiff City on Sunday as well. So they'll enter the new year outside of the playoff positions, albeit only goal difference separating them from the top 6 coming into today. With a game in hand on a number of sides around them. But unless they can turn this around, can summon something, it's starting to trend in the wrong direction for them right now. In contrast to Martí Cifuentes and his side, who finished last season so strongly to stay up. There was a frustration that they didn't build on it in the opening months of this season. Cifuentes was starting to come under a little bit of pressure. It's cleverly currently with the conundrum. Credit in the bank from the first half of his season, certainly. Watford don't have much previous for patience, do they, when it comes to their managers? They're certainly not the only ones in the Championship these days. From Larisi, just got enough on that for Daniel Bachmann, who will require some further assistance from his fullback here. Dunn's header. And Gekia able to bring it down. Take some time to take stock of the situation. Ince for Chakvetadze. But he had seen Larisi in space. He was trying to flick it through to him, I think. Just couldn't quite connect as intended. A little slip from Nardi, but no damage done. And Kenneth Powell's clearance cut out by Porteous. Here's Barr. Chakvetadze showed a bit too much of it to Frey. Fox back to his goalkeeper. Nardi was determined to pick the pass for Dunn, despite the fact he didn't have a lot of room in which to operate there. Couldn't take any chances with that one. Really grown into his role with Watford this season, become a regular under Tom Cleverley. He's regularly praised his attitude, his willingness to learn. To bide his time since joining 4 seasons ago from Grimsby Town. So Smith's shaping up for the long throw here. It's Porteous that came over the top of a crowd of players to reach it. Chakvetadze tries to clear it. By Ashby. Dunn and Frey both up there again. Both in position to attack the same ball, really, and once more, like the goal, it was Jimmy Dunn that met it first. Unlike the goal, though, this one was not threatening, and he did make that contact. Was there a foul on Porteous in the build-up to the second Queen's Park Rangers goal? It maybe looked more of a slip than anything. Chase cross headed in by Dunn. Porteous was continuing those complaints. I think that's why Bachmann was ultimately booked, for having his say as well. There's an element of misfortune surrounding both of the goals. Porteous in particular at the centre of the story for each of them. Larisi denied the chance to go back to his goalkeeper here by Frey. Last minute of the first 45, Sierralta. Watford need something in soon if they're to change the mood before the break. And Gaki are advancing. And fizzing it in, good ball for Bayo. Big chance in the circumstances. Goes wide from Vacuum Bayo. More menacing from the Hornets, certainly. There was some space here for Jeremy Ngakia. He was able to advance and send in a teasing delivery that maybe merited more. Just got his angles wrong there, did Bayo. Watford's top scorer has had a couple of sights of goal as he looks for double figures for the season. And that could be a costly one that he sent wide. That was maybe their moment. Moved by Field. By Larusi. Sierralta stretching. To first half additional time we go. There's going to be 4 minutes of it. Ashby with the throw. That really could have made a big difference had Bayo stuck his header away rather than the other side of the post. Located only the side netting. Rangers will bring plenty forward for this, though. Another Paul Smith long throw to come. They've shown their menace in these sort of situations throughout this first half. And it's going to go Watford's way. Gunhurst as well, I think, in the process. And Porteous both receiving or requiring some attention, maybe, after that. Porteous, who got the decision this time, which hasn't always been the case in this first half. And Jimmy Dunn immediately indicated that he had a bit of a problem with the shoulder. That will be cause for concern for Queen's Park Rangers. They've missed Clark Salter at the back for a lengthy spell already this season. He's back on the bench, still searching for full match fitness over recent weeks, having made his return just before Christmas from 9 games out with a calf injury. In the same match where Steve Cook suffered a foot injury that has sidelined the skipper ever since. Ronnie Edwards waiting to come into the equation. His signing confirmed today by Queen's Park Rangers, on loan from Southampton for the rest of the season. And he will expect to play. He hasn't played much for Southampton, hence that loan move. Only signed for the Saints in the summer after promotion to the Premier League, following 4 years with Peterborough. He was named in the League One Team of the Year. His dad, by the way, apparently is a big Queen's Park Rangers fan. That side of the family, Rangers supporters, which played a part in choosing Loftus Road as his destination for the remainder of this season. He will be available for the next game against Luton. We certainly hope that Jimmy Dunn will be. It looks more promising, doesn't it, for them now, to see him back on his feet after treatment. Four goals this season for Jimmy Dunn. It's the same as Michael Frey, the 2 leading scorers in this team today in the Championship. Pal under pressure. Does just mean this little period of additional time at the end of the first half will be extended a little further, with Watford advancing again with Ngakia. He's still not content to give up on that one. Frey back defending. Going to come the way of Matty Pollock. Now Larusi. Sissoko. Check for Tadza. 3 in the penalty area. A couple of other options on the edge of the box as well. Check for Tadza. Rangers with everybody back behind the ball. The cross came in looking for Bayo, didn't get that far. Ince will let it go in the knowledge that it will reach Quadro Bar. Now with Tom Ince. Rangers want this half-time whistle. Quadro Bar taking on both chair and power and generating real power in the cross. Cleared by Frey. Larouci, check for Tadza. Carefully creates a bit of space for Sissoko. With Yasser Larouci. And it goes threateningly. Just about, I think, be time to take the corner. Had to be conceded by Morgan Fox, really, with both Ngakia on the near post and Bayo beyond him, trying to get on the end of the cross when it came. We are having to withstand some heavy pressure, Queen's Park Rangers, at the end of this half. Check for Tadza's corner. Out by Dunn. Already with the post in the process, but he did get the job done in completing the clearance in what proves to be the last action of a first half in which Michael Frey put Queen's Park Rangers in front inside the opening 5 minutes. On his return to the starting lineup after injury, contentious free kick that he won was taken impressively by Queen's Park Rangers. Kevin Morgan cutting it back for Frey to score, and then Jimmy Dunn scoring a second goal before half-time, which might make such a difference. He was back doing the day job at the end of the half to help preserve that more comfortable cushion that they take down the tunnel with them. Half-time at Loftus Road. It's Queen's Park Rangers 2, Watford 0. Welcome back for the start of the second half then. We're going Queen's Park Rangers' way so far. It has been really since that 5th-minute goal from Michael Frey. It's Tom cleverly being able to conjure during that half-time team talk. We'll have had plenty to say, I'm sure. Jimmy Dunn's goal for Queen's Park Rangers that doubled their lead means it is a tall order to find any way back from here for Watford. We'll get the second half started in their attempts to do so. Check for Tadza. It gets us off and underway once more. Queen's Park Rangers on course as it stands for a 4th straight home win in the Championship. Watford, whose record really away from home has been wretched, are staring at a 3rd defeat in 4, home and away. Unless they can summon something pretty special in this second half in these difficult conditions in West London today. It has been a difficult one for Watford so far. Did do the double over Queen's Park Rangers last season. There was nothing between them at Vicarage Road at the end of November earlier this season. Until those last 3 meetings, Queen's Park Rangers had won 3 in a row against Watford. He's not yet opted to make any changes, cleverly at half-time. I imagine it won't be too much longer if things stay as they are before he turns to that bench, but he's afforded the opportunity to those that featured in the first half to try and undo some of the damage. They're trying to put the pressure on high here, but Powell kept his composure. Morgan getting the better of Tom Ince in midfield. It's forced for Ashby and now for Smith. This is Paul Smith with the cross. Nobody really advanced enough to get on the end of that. Made by Matty Pollock for Watford. There's a foul in there on Bayo, right in front of the referee. He produced just the one yellow card in the first half, but it hasn't taken long for him to show another, and he's brandished it in the direction of Morgan Fox. Too tight to vacuum Bayo here. Pulled him back fairly blatantly. And as I mentioned, the referee had a very good view of that, so a caution for the Queen's Park Rangers centre-back. Ince has been on most of the set pieces for Watford. He's got plenty to try and aim at here. His header will break for Barr. Kept it on looking for Bayo. That was a foul in there. It was a foot that was high as well, I think. Which is why the referee has stepped in, given it in Jimmy Dunn's favour. That one does end with all smiles. Really amicably between Dunn and Bayo this time. With a big part at both ends is Jimmy Dunn. And he will need to continue in that fashion if QPR are to see this through today. Ciarata steps across for Watford at the other end. Smith looks to take it quickly, didn't really have the option to do so, so instead he's going to wait. And it will be this more familiar long throw that we'll see from Paul Smith surely here. As the likes of Dunn make their way up from the back again. They could get themselves 3 in front at this stage. It'd be all but job done really for Queen's Park Rangers. And it goes, and probably shouldn't have got that far. We'll let it go for another throw. Nobody really willing to take decisive action for Watford there and deal with it. There have been some defensive deficiencies to concern Cleverley on show already today. It's another excellent throw from Smith. But that was more emphatically dealt with. So Smith will try again, different angle this time for the throw. Comes the way of Fox, but the whistle already gone by the time it did so, with Larousse down. Free kick given Watford's way. This time going against Jimmy Dunn before it fell for Fox. Both of them up from the back. Yeah, the arm came across and caught him. It was probably entirely accidental looking at that, but the contact was clear. And it was the correct call. Porteous. Morgan stepping in, Frey helps him out. Those two double up well to win it back for Queen's Park Rangers. And here is Chair. Immediately surrounded by 3 Watford defenders trying to prevent the cross from coming in, having seen the damage that he can do in that type of territory already. As it turned out, they did triple up on him effectively. Kenneth Powell takes the throw, gets it back from Varane. Here's Chair. Paying particularly tight attention to Ilias Chair. Lovely feet. In towards Frey. Goalkeeper should get there, didn't get enough on it, back by Smith. And still the chance, which is blazed over. And it was a big chance when it came the way of Jonathan Varane. Maybe an even better one just prior to that for Smith. And that could have been 3-0 for Queen's Park Rangers. And they really would have been well on their way to all 3 points today. That was poor from Daniel Bachmann. But he found himself actually in the right position to make the save. Smith frustrated that he afforded him that opportunity, and it was rather wild from Varane when it came his way. And up the other end come Watford with Ngakia, who was in full flight, but he's stopped in his tracks by Kenneth Powell. Back from Frey. It's been a bit too much of Powell, although the challenge that followed on Frey just after the ball had gone looks out in Rangers' advantage. What's going on at the moment? And he has played a big part on his return to the team. Here's Morgan. That's a lovely ball. Smith is going to reach it ahead of Larouci and delivers first time. Cut out by the stretching Ciarauta. Only out as far as Powell, though. Able to take that in his stride cleanly. It was awkward for it. That was Ngakia for Backman. Rangers have Watford rattled at the moment. Inside currently looking the likelier to score the game's third goal. There's a measure of composure, of confidence and control. It certainly wasn't always seen in these parts earlier in the season. Check for Tabsa for Watford. Frey still with him. He's on a yellow card, so he had to let him go in the end. Check for Tabsa. Bayo. That point for either Bar or Ngakia. In between the two of them. Frustrations building for those in black. Jonathan Varane still reflecting maybe on the one that got away a few moments earlier. He had a clear sight of goal here and couldn't keep it down, couldn't keep it on the target. High and wide in the end. From the Martinique international. Brother of Rafael. He has been a fixture since his summer signing from Sporting Gijón. He was given a breather on the bench in the last game. Having started the previous 5, he's played in each of the last 15 matches now since serving a suspension earlier in the season. Now this is going to come the way of check for Tadser, and that could spell trouble for QPR. Still a check for Tadser, Bar and in, and maybe right back in the game against the balance of play. Kwadwo Bar back from his ban after that eventful Boxing Day, and back on the score sheet here to perhaps change the course of this contest. He found himself in the right place to pick up the pieces. A little bit of fortune how it fell the way initially of Georgie Chak for Tadser. But he did brilliantly with it, and it deflects in off Kenneth Powell. On target though from Kwadwo Bar. And the deficit halved, but it was a crucial touch off Powell, wasn't it? It didn't change the course of the ball too significantly, but it did help wrong foot Paul Nardi in goal. He wasn't able to react to it in time. Just like that, the momentum might shift, but here's Field stepping into space. Rangers look to respond straight away. Progress held up by Porteous. And cool heads required by Queen's Park Rangers here. Here goes Smith. And still Smith hangs it in. Oh, it's 3-1. They have responded straight away. And it's the stand-in skipper who scored the goal. Sam Field heads home. Rangers' response was almost instant. Sam Field comes up with a captain's contribution. And they were not pegged back for long. Only his third goal of the season. The first 2 having come last month here against Oxford. Smith deserves so much of the credit. for his run and cross. Dinked it in delightfully, but there was still a lot to do for Sam Field, who made it his. Got to it just ahead of Porteous to steer it beyond backman. And just like that, Cifuentes' side have their 2-goal cushion back. An eventful fair to start the new year at Loftus Road. And they will argue that they deserve that, QPR. And it speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the Rangers' resolve and resilience right now. Wasn't always the case earlier in the season. But there's much more belief about those in blue and white, certainly in these parts right now. Our only thought, having conceded against the run of play, was to set about a response straight away at the other end. And Watford weren't back within one for long enough, really, for it to make too much of a difference. He had an impressive 2024, did Sam Field, scoring 6 league goals. He only managed 1 in the previous calendar year. And has started 2025 in some style. And Queen's Park Rangers back on course to do likewise. Real spirit from Cifuentes' side. No little quality either. In this form, they won't be pulling clear of the relegation zone that will remain their priority for long. They'll be looking up rather than down the championship table. Watford have shown once already that they can't be written out of this. Chakvetadze played his part in setting up their goal, and he looks to do likewise here with the ball aimed in towards Vakumbayo. It didn't get that far. Porteous takes the throw quickly for Chakvetadze again. Now Ince. Sissoko. There's Pollock. Patient probing possession from Watford as they try and advance up the pitch. Andy Pollock goes cross-field this time. There's Bart. Taking on Kenneth Powell, couldn't prevent the cross from coming in. It's an important intervention that ensured it didn't reach Tom Ince. Jimmy Dunn, who was in the way. Frustration that followed for Frey. He's continuing the conversation with Steve Martin, the referee. Unlikely he will go the distance today, Michael Frey, as they still continue to manage his minutes a little bit. Right on cue, actually, there's activity on the Rangers bench. Colley has been the regular starter in attack in the ongoing injury absence of Jan Seller recently. Free kick in a position of peril for Queen's Park Rangers here, though, with Chakvetadze standing over it. Conceded by Frey. Chakvetadze. Rangers relieved to hear the referee's whistle. Field going down, winning the free kick. Good contribution in both boxes in the last few minutes from Sam Field. He first joined the club some 4 years ago on loan from West Bromwich Albion, made it permanent that summer. Been a regular really ever since. Going to see Clark Salter as well as Colley by the looks of things. An hour in West London. As QPR changes are imminent. Here they come again, though, with Paul Smith. Plenty of space for him to skip into. Still with Smith. Can he find the finish at the end of it? Had to improvise and have another go. It will break instead here for Chair. Wider than he would have wanted, though. And then thwarted by the flag. Offside given. And Paul Smith this time didn't make the most of what looked another presentable opportunity for him. So it will afford them the chance to make these changes. Alterations at either end. The introductions of Clark Salter and Ryan Colley. Fox coming off. Clark Salter will take his place at centre-back after that recent calf injury. And his first start for a couple of months, actually, on Boxing Day. At the foot against Swansea City. And a decent ovation, understandably, for Michael Frey. His first start since October does end a little early. Reversal of one of the changes made to their starting lineup from Sunday, with the teenage Algerian Ryan Colley coming on, having started the previous 5 games. A club that he's been with since the age of 8. 3 big goals already in the Championship this season, all of them relatively recently. He's on for what remains. Fresh legs for Queen's Park Rangers. Challenge laid down to Watford from here. Looks like as if Cleverley is going to respond in kind with alterations of his own. Okay, Vata being seemingly readied there. He wasn't fit to start today, came off with a calf injury on Sunday, but he's able to play some sort of a part later in the game, said Tom Cleverley before the match, and his moment is now, it would appear. With Watford's need great. It was Vata who scored the stoppage time winner against Portsmouth a couple of games ago. He's also responsible for their late leveller at Hull City earlier last month in that 1-1 draw, a couple of minutes from the end of the game. There's Morgan. Good ball for Colley, whose first touch of the contest was a heavy one. And it runs away from him as a result. He's been making the most of his chance in the first team. Another of those benefiting from the club's determination to turn to youth. It's a policy that runs right the way through the club. There's 16-year-olds featuring at under 18 level this season. Here goes Quadwo Bar. It doesn't take him long to cover good ground here for Watford. Has Bayo in the middle. Oh, and he can't turn it in from right in front of goal. Oh, Quadwo Bar did brilliantly there in the ground that he covered. And very deliberately tried to tee up Vacuum Bayo, who in that type of territory would have expected to score, and maybe needed to in the circumstances. Look at this from Bar. Rangers couldn't really get back to him. It was just deflected behind him, though. And there wasn't an awful lot he could do to react as it took a faint touch, but an important touch off Jimmy Dunn. Tom Ince is going to make way in this change. And he's not going to be the only one, I don't think. Looks like the skipper's coming off as well. It's going to be Larisi, who also makes way, a triple change here for Watford. That's Festi Ebesele, who will take his place. Kayembe was the other player called for. He'll take over from Sissoko in midfield. Vata for Ince. Decisive off the bench from Cleverley at this juncture. In his chair, looking for Ryan Colley. Pollock there first. Porteous under pressure, then just caught. Spotted by the referee, gets the free kick. He wants further action taken, I think. Ryan Porteous here. crowd not taking too kindly to his animated reaction. Flipped by Chekvetadze. Salter able to step in. Here goes Colley. Sierralta's gone with him, but he can't prevent Ryan Colley reaching it. Looking for some support, maybe. Isn't quite forthcoming. Porteous got back to help out his defensive colleague. You can see already the different type of threat that he brings up front. Scored in the last home game against Preston. Scored his first 2 senior goals in the 3-0 win off the bench against Norwich City a week into December. And space for Chekvetadze here. Midway point of this second half. Game is wide open right now. Rocco Vata. His first involvement since coming on. So too Ebesele joining in. With the teenager, Rocco Vata. Rangers will settle for that, certainly, as the free kick goes against the Republic of Ireland youth international. He signed from Celtic in the summer. He's certainly been making an impression recently. Was that shot on target from Cordoba Bar? Looking at that angle, it might suggest otherwise. If it wasn't, Kenneth Powell could end up being credited with the own goal. That is a little less now than it might have done, given Rangers' response at the other end, but Watford is certainly far from finished going into this closing quarter. I still feel there could be something in this game for them. There's Pollock. Ebesele. Stepping on Ashby. Continue the chase, will Paul Smith. He wasn't going to give that up against Kayembe. And he's got some reward at the end of that. Actually looked like it might be something of a lost cause for Paul Smith, but he really exists when he is around, and for Kayembe's reaction to what followed, he's been shown a yellow card. It hasn't taken him too long to go into the book, having only recently stepped off the bench. 5th yellow of the season, although we are beyond the threshold now for 5 yellow cards, spelling a suspension. 10 now required for a 2-match ban. Here's Barr. Went back the way briefly of Chekvetadze, but awkwardly, and he couldn't quite control it. Geki content to let it go for the throw. Rangers conceded late, of course, at the weekend against Norwich City, in which they had been hanging on a little bit. Martin Cifuentes admitted afterwards, although it was so disappointing to concede so late, I felt that Norwich did deserve their point. I'm sure he will argue that his team have merited the position that they currently find themselves in today. Space here for Kayembe. Porteous. From Barr. Just don't need to take too many chances, though. They can afford to keep their discipline back behind the ball in positions like these. Watford frustrations continue to build, really. Nor do they have to be in any great hurry from situations like this. Put out by Porteous. Here's Chekvetadze. He's able to pick the pass, this time for Rocco Vata. Basele swings it in. Oh, we'll leave it for Porteous just beyond him. Now Kwadwo Ba. It's Ilias Chair back defending. He couldn't prevent the cross from coming in, but Clark Salter was there to clear it. Kayembe, it's a better ball for Ba. Kwadwo Ba, progress held up by Kenneth Powell at the expense of the corner. I think they'd have a big part to play if Watford are to get back in this. Both Ba and Vata singled out for praise recently by Tom Cleverley. Chekvetadze's corner is out by Jimmy Dunn. As far as Ngakia. Chekvetadze back for Jeremy Ngakia. Collie tried to prevent the cross, couldn't do so. Comes all the way through here for Pollock. And that's a big block to shut the door just in time. At the expense of Harrison Ashby, but he's bounced quickly back to his feet. Looked like that might have come at some personal cost for Ashby. But he did his job brilliantly here. Trying to take that touch to set himself and wasn't afforded the time or space to do so really by Ashby. But a corner to come once the referee is satisfied. Sierranta and Dunn. Close attendance. Chekvetadze in awkwardly underneath the crossbar. And although Nardi was able to get hands to it, he will also drop the free kick. The benefit of the doubt from the referee. Did take a bit of a blow in the process by the looks of things, Paul Nardi. So a good season, his first in English football since he signed in the summer from Ghent. Hasn't missed a game in this division for Queen's Park Rangers, who are readying further changes. We're going to see Koki Saito, and maybe Nicholas Madsen as well, by the looks of things. Saito's been a regular starter until the last couple of games, on loan from the Belgian club Lommel, the Japanese international. Able to bring it down, Chekvetadze and have a go. It's watched well wide by Nardi in the end. It did take a touch, I think, on the way behind. Gives Watford the chance to keep this period of pressure on. He's at the heart of most of it. Here's Chekvetadze. Down goes Porteous right in front of the referee. Shoving continues. Porteous dishing it out as well as being on the receiving end. Chekvetadze's corner. Big chance for Porteous. And he couldn't get his angle right from there. He's never been too far from the story today, one way or another, and he was almost able to step up to centre stage, and having put himself in that position to meet the header as he did, he would have backed himself to do better with it. He does have a couple of goals from centre-back, Ryan Porteous, in the Championship this season, but that was one that got away. The Rangers relieved as they make this double change that their two-goal cushion remains intact. Another attempt to freshen things up for what remains. So Saito will take the place of Ilias Chair over on the left. That'll be a like-for-like replacement. Chair having taken Saito's spot in the starting 11 in the last couple of games. And it's Kieran Morgan that makes way in midfield for Nicholas Madsen. He comes off the bench for the third game in succession. New signing just before the end of the previous transfer window. A new one, of course, opening today. Rangers bringing in reinforcements already in Ronnie Edwards, and I wonder how much other business will be done by both of these clubs over the next month. Here's Ryan Colley. Does fall favourably for him. Slips in the cross despite the presence of Ciaralta. Saito, who was in the middle, went down. There's not really anybody near him. Substitutes trying to combine for QPR to put it out of sight. There's Saito again. A bit too much of it to Ngakia this time. Bayo was the target. What at times has been a pretty lonely task up top for him today. Check for Tanser. Rocco Vetta. And it's what they do off the ball, the likes of Vetta and Barr, that will get them in the team on a regular basis, says Cleverley. No doubt about the attacking attributes that they can bring to games. And he says they'll both be starting regularly soon. And they can do what he needs them to do when his side don't have possession. Still learning their trade. He was on loan at Burton Albion in League One in the first half of last season. Has been more of a regular starter recently. And goes the long throw here, gathered up comfortably by Nardi. Who hasn't been overly alarmed too often. There wasn't that much he could do about Barr's deflected goal. Took that touch off Kenneth Powell. Space for Smith. Watford having to play a higher line now, and Paul Smith in behind it. Fishes it in and almost all the way in. And neither could Saito get the touch to it far post either. Paul Smith in the mood to settle this once and for all. He's inside his own half just when that came his way. Colley and Saito in the middle. And somehow it had evaded both goalkeeper's boot and Koki Saito and the far post as well. The intent all too obvious from Smith. Saito still waiting for his first goal for the club since he signed in the summer off the back of appearing for Japan at the Olympic Games. And through for Bayo. Dealt with decisively again by Jimmy Dunn. He's had another excellent game for QPR. His time over the throw here, not too many options on for Watford. And that will be a concern for Cleverley at this juncture. Saito's got his foot in. Won it back against Cordoba Bar. He was able to recover to an extent. Here's Varane though. Ashby to Smith. Smith again. Harrison Ashby, though, worked it wonderfully for the fullback to try and float in the cross. Cleared as far as field. Now Kenneth Powell. Saito with Ngakia for company. There's a QPR ball, and Ngakia just switched off for a second. Powell tried to pick out Madsen in the middle. Colley was looking to get on the end of it as well. It's back with Koki Saito. He wasn't giving it up against Ngakia, but neither was the fullback, who did well. Check for Tadza for Watford. Outnumbered. He takes some stopping in those situations and asks Bayo to chase it. Out comes Paul Nardi. He had to get there first and just about did. There's the quality of check for Tadza again. Side under pressure at one end. almost catching Queen's Park Rangers cold at the other. Long throw to come. Into the feet of Chakvetadze this time, but taken away from him by Saito. Colley. Looked like the referee was going to let him continue there, but there wasn't too much of an obvious advantage to offer. So he blows the whistle and he produces the card. For Georgie Chakvetadze. Neatly done by Ashby. Looking for Colley. Well, there's Ronnie Edwards. Reaching on today, having made that loan move from Southampton. Now Smith on the surge. He couldn't quite find the finish. He was able to dig it out from under his feet and get his shot away. Was Paul Smith, but it was relatively comfortable for Backman behind it. Kick given here, and I think the referee is reaching for his pocket again. He's doing so far more frequently in the closing stages now. Steve Martin. Southfield's going to go into the book for that one. The captain cautioned. And he's not too far away actually from another ban. He's already served a suspension for 5 yellows earlier in the season. That's number 8 of his championship campaign. Vetta. Ashby is standing his ground. They both battle for it. They both ask the question of the referee, and Watford prefer the answer that they've got. And Ashby unhappy with how that's ended up. Chakvetadze to take. Watford, you sense, needs something to happen here. They're to have a realistic shot of getting back in the game. Well, it nearly did, but the whistle had gone. He rose to try and meet it. Owners surround the referee. Clark Salter, I think, who stayed down. He's not the only one who stayed down. Looks maybe in the most trouble. He was battling to get on the end of it as well. Paul Nardi now back on his feet. Take another look. Plenty going on in there. And it was Pollock who headed it home, but the whistle had gone just prior to that. And I think for the challenge on the goalkeeper. But in truth, there were 2 or 3 different situations that the referee had to try and keep on top of as that ball came in. And a scare that QPR have had to survive. And they'll look to put it out of reach, but it runs away from Ryan Colley. Final 5 of the 90 now. Leading by Ebesele. Still has it, Ebesele. It was a late one from behind by Smith. It's going to cost him a caution as well. These cards keep on coming. I don't think Paul Smith can have too much of a complaint here. Maybe got something of the ball. But always awkward attempting the challenge from behind, always risking what followed. Didn't get enough of the ball. So he's into the book as well. Kiana's going to walk away and leave this one for Chakvetadze to take. Thinks it in for Porteous. Took a touch on the chest, goes down, but there's a flag up on the far side to negate any possible penalty appeal there. And Ryan Porteous never got started because of the flag. And it's not been straightforward for Queen's Park Rangers in the way that they're seeing it through, but they have enough of a cushion for them not to have been too alarmed just yet. And no change available to Marty Cifuentes, might be on the way. Betsy down there on the touchline a moment ago. He's had a big part to play in the increased emphasis on youth and young players getting their opportunity higher up the club, having joined the coaching staff in the summer. As the individual development coach, having joined from Cambridge United. Effectively, really, the replacement for Paul Hall, who left after 11 years. Ryan Porteous with the throw for Watford. No option really but to hurl it in for the Hornets. It's cleared back towards him. Gakia. Porteous again. Salter's clearance was emphatic. Rangers now with everybody back behind the ball, and you'd imagine for the most part of what remains, that is where they will stay in the circumstances. Pollock has stayed forward here for Watford. His presence was important, and the ball almost breaking for Ebesele, but again, they pushed everybody forward, so Smith with space to surge into. It's becoming a theme late in the game. Down goes Paul Smith. Out comes the card. That is also becoming a theme late in the game. It's Ebesele this time. He's the latest name to go into the book. And if it carries on, we may well see a red yet in what remains, although there's not long left now at Loftus Road. QPR almost there. Smith determined to take advantage of the sort of spaces Watford are having to leave, as they chase the increasingly remote possibility of getting a point from the game. Ebesele is another that's already served as suspension this season. It's his 7th yellow of the campaign. Kenneth Powell will take the free kick, last minute of the 90, and then we find out how much longer Queen's Park Rangers will have before they can celebrate starting the new year in style. Powell in awkwardly, nearly met by Colley. Vata coming under pressure. And a touch was from Kenneth Powell for the Watford throw, but Rangers have them where they want them at the moment. The Hornets pinned back, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Here is that final change. It's a notable one as well. Jack Colback coming on, having missed the previous 19 championship matches through injury. Hasn't played since the middle of September at Sheffield Wednesday. A knee problem has sidelined him since. But he returns for the new year and takes the place of one of their goal scorers today, Sam Field, for what remains. To afford Field the chance to take the acclaim from the home fans as well. Welcome back, Jack Colback. Played just 4 times in the championship season until now because of that injury. There's space here for Cordwa Bar, and he is able to bring it down. He's got Bayo in the middle, and Gakia trying to get there as well. Takes the shot on and thumps it against the frame of the goal. Well, a brilliant effort from Bar. And that really would have given Rangers something to think about heading into stoppage time. Nardi was beaten by the power of the effort. I'm relieved to see it thump back off, really, the angle of Payson Bar. Excellent attempt from Cordwa Bar, who's done his bit to try and get Watford back in this game today. Criticised by his own manager for those unnecessary celebrations against Portsmouth on Boxing Day, just in that one-match ban. He did bring him straight back into the side. He's played his part, but it looks like it's going to be a losing effort for Watford. because we've had nearly 90 seconds of additional time, of which, by the way, 4 minutes were indicated by Alex Chilovitz, the fourth official. Clearances by Backman, has to go long. Mayo battling for the bouncing ball. And they did well to get a foot in. Here's check for Tabza as it came his way. And still a check for Tabza, who's away from Ashby. Tried to improvise with the cross, out only as far as Ebesele. And now Kayembe, a little bit of pinball. It fell favourably for Queen's Park Rangers. Watford are finishing strongly, but looks like they've left themselves too much to do. Check for Tabza. Ebesele, held up by Smith. It will be a free kick. No second caution for Paul Smith, but the referee has awarded in favour of Ebesele. Watford will have a chance here to deliver this directly. Try and set up a frantic final few seconds or so if they could score from this one. Check for Tabza to take. He's got pretty much everyone to try and aim at in the penalty area. By check for Tabza and headed too high by Ryan Porteous. And you wonder if Watford will get another go. It may well have been the Hornets' last hope. Hasn't been without his chances today, Porteous. He may well have felt he was fouled for both of the QPR goals that were scored in the first half. It hasn't gone Watford's way today, and they're seemingly set for a third defeat in 4. Which will have implications maybe a little bit later in the day for their championship position. They missed the opportunity to climb back into the playoff positions this afternoon. And a busy day of action still to come in the EFL. Towards Bayo. And got a foot in, Kenneth Pal away. Rangers have been resilient really when required. Queen's Park Rangers start the new year in style with a 4th successive home win in the Championship to maintain their momentum into 2025. But for Watford, it is 3 defeats in 4. Back-to-back setbacks since that victory on Boxing Day. Rangers doing enough, really, in a position of strength in the first half when Jimmy Dunn had doubled their lead. Lead given to them by Michael Frey inside the first 5 minutes of his return to the starting lineup. Barr's deflected effort got one back for Watford. Samfield responded straight away, and in the end that was enough for Rangers. Full time at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Watford 1.